Okay guys, this is the tutorial for the 1-point perspective project. Of course, as always, you're going to need all your tools, and you're going to need this handout, and it should be in the gray folders, the drafting 1-point perspective handout, with step-by-step instructions of what you need to do. And then on the back side is an example of exactly what you're trying to do, with some labels, some dimensions, and so forth to help you out along the way. So first thing I want to do is I've come in here, I've created my title block, and again I came in darker with my darker lines to help you guys see what's going on. You would keep everything with your 6H pencil first and not darken up those boards until after. I, of course, am going to need to do some extra eraser marks to keep from smudging this stuff. Again, you would still want to use eraser marks, but not to worry about it so much because you've taken the time and you have done it with a 6H pencil, not yet with your H pencil. But the first thing I need to do is I need to find the center of my drawing area. My drawing area being this area right here, excluding where I put my letters and so forth. So to do that, I'm taking my T, I'm flipping it over, and I'm putting one part on the corner on that edge and one part on the corner on that edge, double checking it, and I'm just making a light mark like so. Do it for the other side, and where it intersects with that last mark I made, I just make another mark. That's going to be the center of my sheet. Okay, I can now erase some of this extra stuff that I didn't need. Hopefully I did it light enough that you guys can still see it, but that it's easy to erase. It's not going to leave marks behind. Then I need to create what is called a horizon line. Okay, and a horizon line, just like it sounds, is a horizontal line. And it doesn't need to go all the way across. It's going to be very light. I'll do it a little darker so you guys can see it, but you guys should make yours incredibly light. Should look like so. Should go right through the center of that point there, and that's actually going to be our vanishing point. Next, I want to do a couple things. I'm just going to do my top letters first. Bottom letters I'll save for you guys. So I'm going to come up 1/4 of an inch. So let's do a couple things here. Use my T, my triangle, and I'm going to make some measurements. Okay, so from this line right here, coming up, I think I said 1/4 inch, 1.25 inches. Okay, and making a mark, and then from there I need to come up 0.75, and then from there another inch. Okay, 3 little marks. Quickly come in here and make horizontal lines for each one of those marks. These are going to be my guides for what I'm drawing stuff in a little bit. And you would do the same for the bottom. Again, for time constraints, I'm going to just do the top, but you do the bottom as well. Oh, and I made a mistake here, I believe. This line actually needed to be 1.25 inches as well. No problem. That's why we use a 6H pencil. Easy to erase. Doesn't leave marks when you erase it. We do it super light enough. Push that off, so I'm going to throw a little bit more of this powder down. And should be 1.25 inches. There we go. Looks a little better. Boom. That looks more appropriate. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a vertical line through my vanishing point, or my center, to give me an idea what is the center of my text. So I'm going to write out Meyers. Meyers has 6 letters. That means there'll be 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. If I had an odd number, like 5 letters, like for example with rules, 1 right in the middle, 2 on the other side, and 2 on the other side. So you need to do a little bit of planning ahead of time. Now, each of my letters are going to have a box that they fit in. So each of my letters, let's bring it back, are going to be 1 1/4 inch tall and 1 inch wide, with spacings of 1/4 inch in between, and that's all detailed on the other side of this sheet. So because I have 3 equally on this side and 3 on this side, I need to come over 1/8 of an inch before I can start my first box. Okay, and then from there I will go over 1 inch, skip 1/4, go over 1 inch, skip 1/4, go over 1 inch, and that should give me the marks to put in where my letters are going to go on this side. Again, I'm doing this darker than I want you to do it. Like so. So I got 3 boxes. I'm just going to do the ERS. You got and save the MEY time. And now my E should fit perfectly in this box. My R perfectly in this box. My S perfectly in this box. So to do this, each of my letters, each line of my letter should also be 1/4 of an inch with a 1/4 inch space. 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and so forth. So, for my E, very quickly I'm going to come in here and at every 1/4 of an inch I'm going to make a mark. And very lightly, I'm going to pull this in for the legs of my E. All still using my 6H pencil. Okay, and if I mark in another 1/4 of an inch here, I then very easily can come in and finish up my E. And there should be an E. R, put this guy in. I'm going to do essentially the same thing. I'm going to come down. Let's take a look at this R. So for my R, I need to come down 1/4 of an inch, another 1/4 of an inch, another 1/4 of an inch mark, and then I come all the way down this end. So, let's put in our marks. 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. While I got time here, I'm just going to put in this guy at a 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Same thing as before. Put some marks. I know this doesn't have to go all the way across because this is just the inside of my R, so I might not start till somewhere in here. Again, same, might not start till somewhere in the middle. Dark enough you can see what I'm doing here. This guy's going to come all the way from the edge somewhere into there. Okay. Should have made one more mark while I was at it, but I didn't. And that would be somewhere in here. 1/4 of an inch. Again, I'm doing this darker. Can't emphasize that enough. You guys should be so light. Something like that. Looks like a P right now. Okay, and I'll finish this up by using a 45-degree triangle. Coming in from this corner right here. Come in like so. Now, if I measured 1/4 of an inch from here to here and then went back up at a 45, this would be too fat of a line. I want it to still be the same thickness as that. So the trick to doing that is still using my T, still using my 45, backing my 45 off a little bit, and then using another triangle. And that gives me a perpendicular edge to that 45. Now, I can pull that guy in here, and I can measure exactly where a 1/4 inch should be for thickness. It should look like that. Now that is exactly a 1/4 inch. This might be longer. Might be an understatement because it is, and so forth. Okay, I can do my S. S's are kind of simple, like E's. You just do the same thing. You make mark, 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 all a 1/4 of an inch. So on this guy, I'm going to have 1/4 of an inch mark, 1/4 of an inch mark, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and on the bottom, I will do a 1/4 of an inch from this side and a 1/4 of an inch from this side. Okay, now it's when it takes a little thinking about it. Okay, this guy should come up here, and this guy, this 1/4 of an inch, should come up here. And if it helps out, I can come in with my eraser and erase the parts I don't want. Okay, so quickly I've done the E, the R, and the S. I'm going to darken this up, not because in real life I would darken it up, but because I want you guys to be able to see this. So let's come in here, and I might as well lay down some powder first so I don't make smears. You guys can start to see how that works. It's gonna look. In this case, it's probably easier to start up here and then go down. Twist, if I get a little twist in here, they're kind of short lines, it's hard to get the twist in. But if you can, you want to be consistent. You can see what I'm doing here. Okay. This guy, I'm going to need to stand up here and look. There we go. All that's left is to come in and do the R. Alright, so I got my first 3 letters in there the way I want them to be. Here's kind of the fun part. Next thing I do is I need to always, when you do this step, this is going to be kind of making the 3D look happen, the 1-point perspective actually happen. Now to do this look, you always want to start from the inside and work your way out. So I'll start with the E, work out to the S, okay? Let's go on this way, I start with the Y, and work out to the E. The reason you do that is because there's going to be overlap, and this letter should be in front of that S. These things should fade back into the R, and so forth. The R should fade into the E and such. So you want to do the E first, because it's like being on top. So, the way to do this is I'm coming in here, and every corner I have, I am lining up a corner with the center point, or that vanishing point. And that's what makes a 1-point perspective a 1-point perspective. And I could draw it all the way down to it. In fact, the first time I will show you guys. Okay, like so. And here's this E here at this corner. Okay, but that's going to get real messy real quick, and it's unnecessary. All you really need to do is come down to this line right here. So, flip this over. This guy's going to be tight. Well, let's hold off on that. So, this guy is going to come, and it's just going to vanish into here. Okay, this guy's going to come and also vanish into the middle line of the E, right there like that. Coming down, coming down. With this line right here, I need to actually draw this back edge so it comes up a little bit. And we're so close to the vanishing point, it's tough to see. But essentially right where this corner is, where it hits this line, I'm going to come straight up. I don't know how much I'm going to come up yet, so I'll just put in a little bit. And then I can come in here, line up that guy with this guy, this corner with there. There we go. So it should come up and meet, like so. Again, I'm doing it darker than I should. You guys will do it super light. Let's do the R real quick. This corner right here just needs to go to that line. This corner just needs to go to that line, and such. It's a little thicker because it is a little thicker than the bottom. This guy would go and disappear into the leg of the R. This guy would go just the corner. Show like that. Again, this guy, in this case, is going to go fade into the E, like we talked about. Now, one more time. This back edge should be represented vertically, so it comes up straight into the bottom of the E, like so. This line is that 45. So that means that this represented right here also needs to be a 45. This is going to go back into there. All good. Okay, I could continue and show you guys with the S, but I think it's starting to become apparent. Again, once I had it all done, I would come in and darken this stuff up. Triangle's a little too big for me. So, we want to get this line just right. There we go. Of course, then I'd come in, once I had my E in, once I had my R, all my letters, I'm coming in and I'm taking out all my, any extra guidelines would go. You would also go ahead and erase your vanishing point, your horizon line can go, all that stuff can go, and essentially what you're left with is just your text, just your top, and then you repeat the same for the bottom, of course, as well. Don't erase any of the stuff until you've got both of these done, both of these down in your H pencils. Then you come in, the last thing you do, after the borders are all lined and everything, then you come in and erase everything else. So all that's left is so. I'll just really quickly knock out this R and show you how it's going to look. Just like that. Do the same for the S, pull it in. Again, coming in here, little things like this guy now need to be gone. And this is exactly where this eraser shield comes in handy. You can now erase that stuff without losing your drawing. There you go. You guys should have a good start on it. Enjoy.